Ireland, I love you with my whole heart. I'd like to first say, Giavoich, Cork City. Hopefully I did not murder the pronunciation. Thank you for having me today. It's an honor to be amongst you all. My Palestinian warriors. I'd like to also say that I've been told by a few of you that my family must have brought a bit of sun with us, as we've seen 6 straight days of beautiful sunshine. So I guess I'll say you're welcome. Unless you have an aversion to the sun, and to that I say I'm sorry. And I never thought I'd be leaving Ireland with a tan, but here we are. So for those of you that don't know me, I am Hamza, or as I'm better known through social media, Mo Hamz. I am Palestinian American based out of Jersey City, New Jersey. As many of you know, I've got a bit of a reputation as being the angry one on social media that's literally screaming from the rooftops to get the world's attention. But here's the thing. While the Western world thinks it's taboo for Arabs to be angry and makes it their very mission to demonize us, Arabs as terrorists or terrorist supporters, when we express any form of anger, it was always a risk for me to come out guns a-blazing, screaming everything on my mind and heart, unadulterated, unfiltered, unapologetic, and with my full chest out for the whole world to see, as this is a means to typecast me as an angry Arab terrorist or an Arab anti-Semite, which is the most absurd oxymoron if I've ever heard one. But when I see an actual terrorist entity come out literally guns a-blazing, killing everything in their path, including children in mass, that they proactively and systematically target, to then see them gloat about it to the world while self-victimizing themselves, that's when I say to the Western world that you can sit down and shut the fuck up when I'm speaking. When any Palestinian is speaking. Because you've censored and policed our language and emotions, including our anger, for far too long. And I know that my anger is valid. My anger is justified. My anger is my fire. My anger is required. And my anger is sacred and untouchable. Because we are now living in a world that cannot afford any sugarcoating, that cannot afford any beating around the bush, that cannot afford catering to Western media's biased, baseless, unhinged, and dehumanizing line of questioning that fits their pathologically lying narrative. Let me break this down for you all so it is loud and clear for everyone to hear. Whenever anyone asks you, 1, does Israel have a right to exist? You say, no. Israel as a state, concept, construct, and ideology has absolutely no right to exist, as it is stolen land that was forcibly taken by atrocious acts of murder, rape, apartheid, displacement, and ethnic cleansing with the help of colonialist Western governments that have operated under the same ruthless, racist, dehumanizing, power and money-hungry ideologies since their very inception, which all happens to exist until this very day. Two, does Israel have a right to defend itself? You say no, as clearly stated in the UN Charter. Israel, who has a fully operational military with state-of-the-art weaponry handed to them by corrupt terrorist Western governments, does not reserve a right to claim self-defense against the region and people it occupies under a military-run apartheid regime, fighting a people who have zero military and fight back in flip-flops and sandals with rocks, handmade rockets, and antiquated weaponry. 3, do you condemn Hamas? You say, no, I do not condemn any form of resistance against a brutal occupation enacted by a brutal occupier that sees a people as inferior, thus continuing the indiscriminate murder, displacement, ethnic cleansing, and complete and utter destruction of their entire civilization and infrastructure. If you systematically wiped my family off the face of this earth, I would join the resistance, period. 4, do you think a two-state solution is possible? Thank you. You say a two-state solution is a two-state illusion. Aside from the fact that Israel has sabotaged every deal for a two-state solution in history, in order to maintain any semblance of their apartheid ethnocratic system that would never allow Palestine to have their own military, even as a free sovereign state, tells you everything you need to know about those accords or solutions that they have proposed. That and the fact that Netanyahu and several Israeli leaders in just the past year have said very publicly that they will never allow for a two-state solution because they refuse to recognize Palestine as a state. That and the fact that a recent Israeli poll reported by Israeli news source Haaretz confirmed that 82% of that disgusting parasitic society agree with the expulsion of Palestinians from Gaza. Yes, 82% of Israelis agree with the ethnic cleansing of Palestinians. So no, there will never be a two-state solution. In fact, any Israeli claiming to be pro-Palestine, after all is said and done, must automatically renounce his or her Israeli citizenship and fight tooth and nail with Palestinians to maintain all the human rights they deserve in order for us Palestinians to even think about letting you stay there. Anyone opposed to this can disrespectfully get the fuck out of Palestine. And last but not least, 5, isn't it anti-Semitic too? And that's where you cut them off right there and say that I refuse to speak about anti-Semitism when Israel is mentioned in the same breath, considering Israel is a Zionist terrorist entity that has hijacked Judaism to populate a land filled with actual Semites, the Palestinians, with a bunch of rape-loving, child-killing, racist non-Semites from Brooklyn, New York, that cry wolf with their crocodile tears, claiming anti-Semitism as a term that they have weaponized and ruined for the entire religion of Judaism, thus making Israel the most anti-Semitic entity on the face of this entire planet. And just to make them squirm a bit more, you look them in the eye and say, it's death, death to the IOF all day, every day, until the end of their existence. Death, death to the IOF! Death, death to the IOF! So the next time you are ever confronted with this sick and twisted line of questioning, you know exactly what to say now, right? One more time. You know what to say now, right? We live in a world that simply cannot afford repeating the atrocities of old, that many in the world have lived through and know all too well, including Ireland. I knew that in my coming here that I would feel at home, but I did not imagine the overwhelming feeling of not only kinship, but the overwhelming sense of family just minutes upon arriving here. You all are all family to me, whether you like it or not, for the rest of my life. Because when I look into your eyes, I see Palestine through and through. Because behind those eyes lies a history that mirrors what we are witnessing today. I need you all to help me here and answer these questions truthfully as the people of Ireland. Ireland, do you know what occupation is? Do you know what oppression is? Do you know what mass murder, extermination, and forced immigration is? Do you know what man-made famine is? Do you know what it feels like to have your culture, language, and heritage stolen from you? Do you understand why resistance is necessary? When you see Ireland, you see Palestine, right? When you see Palestine, you see Ireland, right? When I look at you, I see me. And when you look at me, I can only imagine that you see yourselves. We are tied to one another through an unbreakable bond that's impossible to describe because it's too powerful to describe. But I'm not here to regurgitate the history to you that you already know. I'm not here to describe to you the absurd and uncanny parallels that the Irish and Palestinian people have been through and still are going through. And I'm certainly not here to tell you why it's important to support Palestine with every fiber of your being, because every fiber of your being is intertwined with ours. What I am here for is to relight a fire within you, because we are at a point where we're well past fatigue due to the continued mental, emotional, and physical trauma we are going through, due to what we have been witnessing daily for nearly 2 years straight. We are at a breaking point, and I refuse to let anyone slow down or feel defeated. And if there's any group that could help me reignite the fire in this world, it is you, my Irish family. So I am here to make sure that you maintain and sustain your advocacy and activism through all the mental, emotional, and even physical distress it causes you, as well as the toll it takes on you and those around you when things just continuously seem to be getting worse and worse with no action or any insight to see with no action in sight to stop this. I have a close friend in Gaza named Enes Mushtaha, who was born with a severe form of polio over 2 decades ago, which resulted in him losing all feeling in his legs as a baby and not being able to walk for the rest of his life. Enes, who was wheelchair ridden for his whole life, being the warrior that he is, never let it stop him as he became a professional wheelchair basketball player and has represented Palestine in many international competitions. And Enes's birthday, like mine, is this week, so quick shout out to Enes. Happy birthday, Habibi. Enes is just one of many in Palestine that I channel as inspiration to keep fighting. And it's not just because he made the most of his condition in his day-to-day life as a literal Paralympian, but because of what he is going through until this very day in Gaza on a day-to-day basis while he is still on a wheelchair that barely functions anymore. Can you even imagine what it is like to be on a wheelchair during the Holocaust and ethnic cleansing of your people whom are constantly on the move while starving to death? So yes, I channel my inner Enes, a man that has lived through the losses of friends and family at the hands of Israel, who has lived through injuries, through continuous bombings by Israel, who has lived through displacement after displacement with no real home to go to anymore because of Israel, while his wheelchair has been broken on numerous occasions as he walks on hands to get from place to place while living through the most severe form of polio since birth that has prevented him from walking in a world that requires him to be constantly on the run from danger. Given all of this, Enes never gave up. His spirit, hope, and faith have remained unwavering. In fact, while his condition prohibits him from standing on his own 2 feet, he stands taller than the most, as he took it upon himself to be there for his community and create an organization on the ground that directly supports those in Gaza. Yes, while still being continuously bombed and systematically starved by the most evil entity in the existence of our planet. This is Gaza. Like Enes, the people of Gaza have nothing left but their hope and faith. And while their hope diminishes day by day, it is their faith that keeps that last unbreakable string of hope alive. A string of hope that only gets stronger when they see that we are at our strongest as we fight for them on the outside. This is what I'm here to tell you today. Yes, the emotional weight of what we witness daily is agonizing. The mental toll of the continuous failures in our international systems and leaders that allow this to happen, not just on their watch, but also through their assistance, is maddening, to the point where I have physically pulled my hair out from pure anger and despair and sadness and helplessness, to then eventually look myself in the mirror and smack myself back to reality. Because I know if I stop, I'm just one less voice of the many that have abandoned the people of Gaza because they were too weak to keep fighting. Resilience can come in many forms. I have been banned from Meta 18 times. 18 times my accounts have been deleted. Wiped from existence, ethnically cleansed from the digital world by a racist, discriminatory, Zionist-run entity called Meta. Many ask why I keep coming back. After losing hundreds of thousands of followers, why do I keep coming back? Because what other choice do I have? With Gaza being literally ethnically cleansed, with the entirety of Gaza being destroyed to rubble, are the people of Gaza planning to run away and leave their land and concede and admit to defeat? Or are they ready for the day they get a chance to rebuild from the ground up, to continue to show the world that this is their land and they will never back down, never quit, and never be defeated? Anyone on this planet that knows just one single Palestinian, either in the motherland or the diaspora, knows the answer to this question. This is what I channel in my continuous persistence to torment Meta, because I know they cannot handle little old me and cannot stand when I open my mouth. So nothing gives me more pleasure than to come back harder and stronger than ever to expose them for what they are. We have no option but to keep fighting. It is our obligation to keep fighting. Yes, we may not, in fact, we do not have a fraction of the resilience that the people of Gaza have. Not a fraction, because we have not experienced even a fraction of what they have been through and are still going through until this very day. And it is not meant as an insult to you. It is meant as a reminder of what you need to do, which is to recalibrate your approach to effectively keep fighting for those that need you the most for the long haul. And again, if there's anyone I can count on in fighting for the long haul, it is you. My brave, beautiful Irish people, because you understand what resilient resistance means. 900. So whenever you are feeling down or defeated, just ask yourselves these questions. Are you the ones being bombed daily? No. Are you the ones being shot in the head by snipers daily? No. Are you the ones being systematically starved to death daily? No. Are your homes being torn down and stolen right in front of your faces? No. Are you the ones being kidnapped under the guise of being illegally arrested daily? No. Are you the ones being raped and tortured to death in inhumane hostage facilities daily? No. Are you the ones watching your children being purposely hunted down in every unimaginable way possible? No. Are your families being wiped off a civil registry? No. Are you the ones living through an active ethnic cleansing, genocide, and Holocaust? No. So then who the hell are we to say that we no longer can fight for them? That we are too tired and emotionally drained to do everything we can to save them? Is it because we aren't them? Is it because it isn't directly happening to us and our families while we sit in our lives of privilege? Because then I ask you this. If this happened to you and your families in your hometowns daily for 2 years straight, would you want the world to come save you? Would you want the world to give up hope on you? Would you want the world to feel so broken down and helpless that their advocacy and activism fizzles away while the inevitable demise of your people continues? Would you want the world to forget about you? No. So this is what I need from you. Please, I beg you to recalibrate yourselves to put yourselves in their shoes. Recalibrate yourselves to put yourselves in Enes's shoes. Recalibrate yourselves to put yourselves in Bisan's shoes, in Dr. Hussam Abu Safia's shoes, in the shoes of Hind Rajab and all of the Palestinian children stolen away from us. Recalibrate to put yourselves in the shoes of every single Palestinian in Gaza, dead or alive today. Ask yourselves if the pain you are feeling measures up to the pain they are feeling, if the emotional distress equates to theirs, if your mental anguish and sanity measures up to what they go through every single day. Then ask yourselves, can you push through all of your pain, your anguish, and your fatigue to help alleviate theirs? I look at it like this. Israel wants you to eradicate Palestinians as quickly as possible, but they also want to break you all down as quickly as possible at the same exact time. Israel's aiming to destroy you from within yourself, to destroy all that you know of humanity, international law, justice, and common decency, to tear you apart so badly that you can't take any more of it. They want you to lose faith in our systems. They want you to lose faith in humanity. They want you to lose faith in yourselves, to diffuse the fire in your fight. This is precisely what they have been trying to do to Palestinians for close to 8 decades, while Palestinians hold stronger than ever, even through everything they have been through. So I ask you this, do you want Israel to win? Do you want Israel to destroy you? Do you want Israel to silence you? Do you want Israel to continue to censor you? Do you want Israel to control you and everything you wish the world could be for you, for your family, for your children? Do you want Israel to diffuse the fight left in you? If it's a resounding no, take this feeling and hold it tight while you push through all of your pain and fatigue in order to fight the ultimate fight of our lifetimes. Because we all know the world will never be free until Palestine is free. And to all Zionists out there, just know that revenge is coming, revenge is absolute, revenge is necessary. In fact, in the words of the great Bobby Sands, our revenge will be the laughter of our children. Thank you.